Hey. What's going on, fellas? My favorite word of the year. You guys are on mute.
There we go. Another day in paradise was my answer to that.
There we go.
How are you doing?
Man, doing good. Everybody ready for the holidays and stuff, here. Any you guys doing anything interesting?
No.
The holidays, not too much. I always go back home to Philly every year. Well, every other year for the holidays. So
now, as I understand, you're West Philadelphia born and raised, right?
Yes.
That's the callback. Actually, we made that joke on like the first or second episode. For sure. I'm still thinking every time I hear it.
The playground is where I did spend most of my days. So
yeah.
Yeah.
So you're a proud Eagles fan too at this moment as well, right?
Oh yes. We have the Jalen Hurts that's shutting it down right now. And
Nice.
as long as Kansas City is where they are, we are gonna still keep looking like number one. So.
All right.
Do you believe you can beat Buffalo or Detroit?
Oh yeah. We can do everything. We can pass. We can run, defense. We're the complete package.
If you're a Giants fan, how sick are you this year?
Oh yeah. Thank you for the running back.
Thank you for the rushing record.
Appreciate you, Giants, doing your part.
Yeah, that's hilarious, man. But guys, all right, man, here we go, man. Welcome back to another episode, man, of AI with Friends. As you guys
special holiday episode too.
Oh yeah, there you go. We should have some snow flurries or anything coming down, everything across the screen and stuff.
Sekou's awesome. Festive. Sekou's very, very festive. I'm kind of Christmas sweater on, but I'm not keeping up with you.
Yeah,
sure.
I have repping the Black Santa. There you go.
Nice.
There you go. Everything. I'm in Florida, so there's no such thing as a long sleeve.
Yeah. You can't even buy those at the store, huh? Like, man, you gotta go. Yeah, no, you gotta go north of Tallahassee for that.
Yeah, big facts. But yeah, guys, man, we are a group of software engineers, builders, developers, doers, and stuff. If you will, we've been having these conversations for the past months or anything. Would you believe? Anything, even so the past year plus, just around kind of like tools and stuff that we're seeing, solutions that we're building, it's kind of what we've seen in the market. So all of us are engineers and everything. Me, myself, I've had the privilege of building some AI solutions for like the last 5 years and teaching for like the last 2. That's wild to say. We all got together and stuff here and decided we're going to kick off this podcast to share some of our resources, knowledge, information, and stuff, and POVs and everything with you guys. And so, we'll kick it off here. And stuff here. Our good friends over at OpenAI, as you guys may know, has launched this thing called 12 Days of OpenAI. They are hosting a series of daily live streams, which day we're going to announce feature demos and products announcement all the way up to December 23rd. And so this event aims to showcase the latest developments in AI technology and AI and OpenAI's contribution to the field. As of right now, some of the things they've launched. Day one, they fully released ChatGPT-01, which is a brand new LLM that says better for math, science, and has better, more accurate answers. And then also, too, they announced ChatGPT Pro subscription, which is starting off at $200 a month. Day two, they released AI reinforcement fine-tuning, which is a method for improving how AI models work through their reasonings for response. Day three, the big one, Sora. It said OpenAI has finally released Sora. It says it's this new AI video generation tool. As you guys probably remember, they announced Sora last year? Was it around down this time last year, I believe?
Yes,
I believe so.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it says you can create a limited amount right now of videos and everything with ChatGPT Pro subscription, which is also the $200 a month. Day 4, so OpenAI announced a nice upgrade to ChatGPT called Canvas. Canvas is a feature that makes it easier to work with code and text, and adding writing tools and more. Day 5. ChatGPT integration into Apple Intelligence was announced, and it went live to iOS 18.2. Unfortunately, ChatGPT went down straight after that launch.
Oh, that hurt.
Right.
Yeah.
Day 6. ChatGPT advanced voice model was added with visual capabilities. Here we go, multi-model, so it can see what's on your screen, and also it can see you too as well, and everything, and give you real-time conversations and stuff. Yeah. Day 7. This is ChatGPT added projects, a method of organizing ChatGPT sessions. So you have the ability to add specialized instructions, projects, code, text, specialized prompt, and everything, and I'll keep it in one place so you can refer back to it as you're working on some type of some project, if you will. Day 8, OpenAI brought its conversation search feature to ChatGPT search for all users for all ChatGPT accounts. Plus, it added the advanced voice model and made it faster on mobile. Day 9, it says it was a bit of a developer day. OpenAI announced a number of new developer tools for more capable models, upgrades performance, flexibilities, cost efficiency for developers. Day 10, and OpenAI gave us ChatGPT accessible with WhatsApp. You can now text ChatGPT in WhatsApp, and also they have announced a US phone number that has a 15-minute limit where you can call ChatGPT and use it advanced voice mode and everything, and have conversations with it with a 1-800 number, if you will. So, guys, 12 days of OpenAI. OpenAI said we will not be outdone on the marketing side, at least. And so, what's your thoughts? Sekou, man, let's start with you.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot of new features. And we even got a little surprise outage too during that process. They gave us the gift of remembering you cannot put all your eggs in one basket.
Yep.
But yeah. It's a lot of good things in there. A lot of good things. You know, they're the GPT Pro. I think that's been like I think that's the one that's kind of stuck with a lot of folks throughout their things that they're providing.
200.
Which is 200,
Two
200
bills.
a month, 200 a month. Although the way that they actually do their billing, if you get Pro at the end of the month, they only charge you for a prorated amount. So you can just get it for, the last couple weeks of December, try it out, and then turn it off, and you won't pay the whole $200. So that is
you gotta save
yeah.
that. You gotta save that for the Black Hat episode on Patreon.
It's for our exclusive content. Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, there's a lot of good things that came out of it. The last one that I saw, the 1-800 number. That was good. I appreciate that. I just waiting for the senior citizen community to get a hold of this. And find themselves talking to ChatGPT late at night, having deep conversations with it. I thought that was probably the most creative of the other releases. But it's great. There's a lot of competition out there in the market for in the space right now. And to not just have like a day like the rest of the folks have done during the season. They usually have like a conference. They release just a bunch of things at the conference, and it's like silence after that conference is done. Right? They have captured multiple weeks now of releases where we are all just talking about OpenAI. So marketing wise, I think it's a smart move. So yeah.
Can I make a quick prediction?
Yeah.
I've been pretty good predicting what's going to happen, been very bad predicting when it's going to happen. I believe there will be eventually some segment of OpenAI will have live stream of somebody's day-to-day work, everything as they're building tools, solutions, showing how things kind of work behind the scene. And I think they're gonna like live stream this thing like 8 hours a day, somebody's work day in the office. I think it's I just kind of like seeing what they're doing with the 12 days of OpenAI. I think it's a clever, Christmas feeling, marketing, marketing path, and like seeing that they're doing that. It's as we were just talking about before, like they're pretty good at marketing. They're pretty good and everything and stuff. And compared to some of their competitors like Google, where Google have so many things and capabilities, and typically people just don't know about it and stuff. And so I think eventually what's going to happen, they're going to start live streaming like their office and what they're working in, and then people just people come in and share their screen what they're working on and what they're building, and they made this new update and stuff with it. I can almost guarantee that's going to happen eventually.
Well, I think we don't have to wait for them to do that. I think that we do enough work in AI. It was to stop us from getting on Twitch and live streaming our process of.
Sekou, don't tip my addiction.
Just saying, we do some pretty creative stuff in the background
Yeah, we
here. It would be interesting to let folks take a little peek in and see how we actually create things or go through our idea process. Hey, look,
some office hours.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Office hours, I love it. All right, you heard it here first.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah. Adrian, what's your thoughts, man? We got a large we got this large kind of like product release and everything they've done. What's your thoughts and stuff here?
Well, first off, I want to say it's ambitious, and I like the approach. You're gonna deliver 12 days of OpenAI. We're gonna go product. It reminds me of I want to say around 2013. This guy I used to follow online, Peter Levels, who did 12 startups in 12 months. So this is before.
Well, that sounds familiar. I think I kind of remember that. Yeah,
he was popular. He was he kind of gained popularity for that. He released like all of these projects, or one for every month. One of them was like and they ranged. Some of them were ideas that I had never thought of. Like a flip book that you can make to animate your videos, like GIF to flip book, and then you can send the flip book as like a gift thing. So like a GIF or GIF, however you are, to actual flip book converter. So that was kind of cool. But he had a lot of other stuff. The biggest one that he launched was Remote OK, which ended up being his big moneymaker. That is still it's a remote listing of it's a job site for remote work. So it's popular among that, backpacker, what's it called now? Nomad, digital nomad kind of life group of people. So that was cool. And it actually inspired me to keep going with the web development thing, because, he was a guy who just put that together himself. And that's, looking at it, you're like, wow, as a single person, you can really accomplish as a single dev a lot. So looking at it, my first takeaway was that I was glad that this was not a series of chatbots, different chatbots, because I feel like that was very kind of, I'm over it after last year and the year before that, where the first thing, I feel like everyone, the only idea they had around AI was a chatbot. So to have them have this suite of products that are kind of varied, across their capabilities, but at the same time, it showcases what the platform can do. So things with images, things with voice, things with video. So that's great. The big product takeaway is probably Sora to me. I think that's the one that has the most potential out of it, or at least in my eyes, as far as something that I'm gonna definitely use. The Santa 1-800 number, that's fine. Like, that's good. I found a little bit of the stuff kind of gimmicky, but you got to have some filler in there too. You can't have it all be killers in a kind of project like this. You got to have some fluff in there. The improvements with Canvas and Pro and the Apple Intelligence integration, that's fine. I have yet to use the Apple Intelligence yet, though. So really, I think that from my standpoint, this was a big rollout for Sora. And I thought that Sora went down, that OpenAI went down after Sora, not after did you guys say it went down after the Canvas or the 1-800 number?
It went down. It went down after the integration of Apple Intelligence.
Apple Intelligence are right around that time.
Yeah, which is also, I think it was a combination, probably both, because day 3 was Sora, day 5 was Apple Intelligence. And, as you know, when you're processing video, on any, on any cloud network or anything, you're about to start pushing the limits stuff for sure. Then we start doing that for 100 million, 300 million people a week. Yeah, good luck.
Wow. Wow. Fire up the nuclear generator. We need it. We need it right now.
Well,
fire that boy up.
The interesting thing,
not all 300 million people are using it too, but yeah.
The interesting thing is, I read the postmortem because that, like, I work in like the operations world, right? So I always love to examine how things fail. And the background story is that it sounded like they introduced a new telemetry system, which generally, telemetry, you want to connect into everything, all the things that run your applications in the background. But apparently, sounds like it blew up and took out all of OpenAI all at the same time, because it wasn't just one product; it was every product that they had was impacted by this. And it took a little while. It took a little while. It started at let's see, it was deployed. It was deployed on the
I got you. December 11th, API, ChatGPT, Sora, that stuff all went down. They noticed it at, why is this in military time? Whatever. It says, we are currently investigating the issue. We'll provide more updates shortly. About 30 minutes later, and we're continuing investigating. Probably about 45 minutes, we have reports of API calls, returning errors and difficult login to platform of OpenAI, ChatGPT. We have identified the issues and working on a rollout fix. About an hour later, ChatGPT, Sora, and API still remain down. We have identified the issues rolling out. We are working fast so we can return to the service and we apologize for the downtime. About 20 minutes later, we have identified a pathway to recovery, and we are starting to see some traffic successfully return. About 15 minutes later, we're currently working on the issue. About another 15 minutes, we're currently working on the issue. And almost an hour later, we're continuing to work towards the remediation. API and ChatGPT traffic is partially recovered, so it remains down. About another hour later, we're currently to work on towards remediation. API traffic recovery is ongoing, and we are bringing ChatGPT traffic back up by region. Sora is still partially being recovered. About another hour goes by. We are now monitoring the situation. API ChatGPT Sora traffic has largely recovered. We are returning the situation to ensure a full resolution. And about 3 hours later, OpenAI has been resolved. OpenAI will run a full root cause analysis of the outage, and we'll show details. We will show further details and stuff as we figure it out. And then they posted the details.
That's I gotta imagine if you're Apple and you have tied your product, Apple Intelligence, so closely to
it was a
OpenAI.
telemetry service. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, if you tied your product so closely to a third party and the way that they've done it, like I know it does not feel good to like know that like ChatGPT's name is coming up and there's this huge failure right when you've actually pushed the full release of your Apple Intelligence product. Like that does not feel good. And if you look at how Apple integrated ChatGPT into the product, it's actually set up very nicely so they can shim in something else later on. They made it very replaceable. So I feel like
I mean, we had that conversation a couple weeks ago.
yeah, anyone that's looking at ChatGPT and feeling like, oh, this is amazing, I'm gonna put all my eggs in this one basket, is looked at that because it started at like 2:25 and ended at like 7 7 p.m. or something like that. That's like if you're looking at the amount of what is it called the availability metrics, was it 5 nines and 3 nines and things like that, like that. Oh, that's gone. I was gone after like maybe the first hour of that outage. That's gone. So yeah, I can't imagine how good that is to be having them as a third party vendor.
So
yeah.
Watch this. I'm going to. I'm not saying these two things are tied, but it's hilarious, the timing and stuff of it. So
yeah.
I'm gonna speed through this record. Root cause: OpenAI operates hundreds of Kubernetes clusters globally. Kubernetes has control plane responsible for clusters administration on a data plane from where we actually serve workloads like model inference. As a part of the push to improve the reliability across their organization, we've been working to improve our cluster-wide observability tooling to strengthen the visibility into the state of our systems. We deployed a new telemetry service to collect detailed Kubernetes control plane metrics. The telemetry service have a wide variety, a very wide footprint. So this new service configuration unintentionally caused every node in the cluster to execute resources in intensive Kubernetes API operations were call scale.
Wait, I just want to add just one more layer inside here, because this is like it's an industry trend, right? We go through these periods of time where we are really into resiliency and building out things into places where you have failure domains, where like one piece of my infrastructure can fail and the rest of my infrastructure moves on and is super happy, right? And then we hit the periods of time where we're like, you know what? We need to save some money. So why don't we just put all these things together inside of one giant thing, because we can efficiently move all these bits and pieces. And then we have big outages.
Yeah.
And then we go through this. It's like a cycle of contracting and expanding. And I think we're like in this cycle of, hey, everything's super expensive. We need to use all these GPUs. We can't just have just one part of our app using its own cluster. We got to share those things, right? This is where we are in the cycle.
Yeah,
and I bet you as soon as these GPUs get cheap, they're gonna be like, you know what? Maybe Apple should have their own clusters.
Watch this.
Yeah.
The Kubernetes API service became overwhelmed, taking down the Kubernetes control plane in most of our large clusters. This issue was pronounced in our largest cluster, so our testing didn't catch it, and DNS catching made the issue far less visible until the rollouts had begun. Fleet-wide and so on. Not saying it's connected. 6 hours later, after the initial go down, Apple announced that they are developing new AI server chips in partnership with Broadcom.
Yeah.
They're like, go ahead and release that article. Put that article out. Good. Tell them.
Let them know. Yeah.
That's it.
Go
Not
ahead,
saying
let
they're
'em know.
tied together,
Yeah.
But,
I mean,
Yeah.
speaking on the conversation of putting the eggs in one basket, I think that it's you hit the nail on the head. You got to kind of follow Apple's lead here, because you said Apple kind of has like they can replace whatever piece that they're that OpenAI is using. You said they can draw from, I guess, because Apple already has their own model, like their own AI that they draw from, and then
They have an on chip. They have a model that runs on your actual phone that's very simple, right? They can do some things like help you with your grammar or something like that. But the actual other things like answering deeper questions, those are farmed out to uh, OpenAI. But when you look at it on the app, you see that there's like a list for providers. The fact that there's a list for providers assumes that there can be more than one, right?
Yeah.
So,
You know what I mean? So they're like, what's in there, like kind of hot, kind of grayed out a little bit, is probably a perplexity. Right below that is not selectable yet. Anthropics down there, you know what I mean? Yeah, that's I wouldn't be surprised if this had a bigger repercussion later on.
Yeah, I think the biggest. I mean, I think the strategy, like you said, Adrian, it's a great marketing tactic. I like that example that you use. There was another software engineer, Shantae Austin. Shout out to Shantae. She was trying to break into. I believe she had just got done with a boot camp, or she was self-taught or something like that. I can't remember. And she decided to, I think it was like every week or every day or every month or something like that, she was building like different React projects, and like kind of making up what the project was going to be, and then kind of like building it live or stuff, if you will, showcasing it on LinkedIn. And that's how she got her first role.
Okay. Yeah. That's the only. Yeah. I gotta say, I just looked up Shantae's. I think I found her.
I'm pretty sure we've probably talked about her, or you probably came in contact. She was on my I had her on my old Coding Life podcast like years ago, and stuff. And so yeah, but I that strategy works in several different ways and everything. It keeps you relevant. It keeps you kind of on the tip of the tongue, and kind of OpenAI has done the same thing and stuff here. I think my most exciting thing.
Now, look, before we go any further, man, shout out to Shantae. All right, because I gotta say, all right, how can I put this correctly? That's a nice looking lady. And like sometimes I will say that to be taken seriously, you have to kind of do more. I think it's particularly hard for women. I think it's particularly hard for minorities. And sometimes pretty privilege can actually get you looked over, rather than it be a pretty disprivilege in some cases, possibly. So her route of, as far as like really being proactive and putting those products out, I would advise still to this day to anyone who say you're self-taught, you want to break into the tech world while building a portfolio. That approach, I would say, is still the way to go. But yeah, I'm gonna let you go, Marlon. Sorry, I had to say that. Shout out.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, I think the most exciting thing for me was probably day 6, which is the advanced voice with now becoming multi-modal and has some visual capabilities and everything. So the ability to see and everything and talk to and have conversations with it. So I think that becomes fun. I think you can start to do a lot of things and stuff with that. I think the example when they first announced it was a child using their iPad and taking pictures of some of the homework and asking for help in kind of breaking it down, that makes sense for them, and stuff and everything. I mean, we can easily see, you're traveling internationally and you're in Tokyo and pointing your camera and everything and asking it to, translate these things in real time as you're kind of like walking through the streets and stuff. And so, yeah, I think there's several, capabilities, and I think there's several use cases that's going to come out of that. particular as well. I think projects is pretty interesting too as well. I mean, this is like a comparison to Perplexity's. What's Perplexity's one called? They were
I can
they were
look it
saying
up.
they were
Yeah,
saying
yeah.
single feature. But I think it's a comparison and stuff to that. And I'm pretty confident Google has one too as well. They just haven't marketed well.
Yeah.
Stuff and
Projects
so
is a really good one. This is the big complaint that my brother-in-law has actually about the he wanted to. This is basically what he was complaining about not having, like 3 days ago.
Oh, Spaces is what it's called on Perplexity.
Spaces.
Yeah, Spaces. Yeah. Can I just say one thing about Google and this? I don't know. I say this maybe every other episode. So like, I feel like Google is like doing such a bad job at advertising what they're doing. Like a lot of these things like Google has right now, I feel like it's the whole Android thing all over again. Like Android comes out with some features. It's used pretty widely by a niche group of folks, but then Apple will come out with a product, and then people are, oh wow, this is amazing.
Yep.
Well, guess what, Sekou? Guess what, Sekou? Well, you and I both got to look in the mirror with that. Marlon has both complained about both of us not really talking enough about what we do. You know what I mean? And putting it out there. So I'm gonna just say that for Marlon. I know he's thinking the sacks like you won the talk. You know what I mean? But every 2 weeks, update your bio. Y'all don't talk about nothing you do. Y'all don't ever.
Bro, it is infuriating. It is frustrating. Anytime I'm in a group setting, somebody news comes into space, and I'm like, Adrian, Sekou, tell them about you. And it's like this 2 sentence, just, I do this. I'm like, my God.
I be coding sometimes.
Like, come on, bro. Like, because I've known all the things and the dope things that they're done and everything. And so, yeah, bro, it is frustrating to just hear them talk about themselves. I'd be ready to throw up. Like come
on. That's on my resolution list for sure.
Yeah, that's 2025 will be the year of self-promotion. There we go.
Yeah. But to your point, Adrian, yes, Google is very much like that too as well. I mean, I think what's interesting is like, so remember, the role, the DevRel role, developer relations role, DevRel, developer relations role.
Yeah,
Google's one of those companies that make that popular. They made that push for that role and made it popular. And it's such a great role, particularly in this use case and everything. And have the ability for people to come in and, engineers be able to build and teach across everything from social media to podcasts to conferences. And I really, really think they need to like reinvest, into that. And I think they need to get more creative or capital OR. They partner with podcasts like this as well, become the main sponsor where we talk about some of these things, some of the things that they're building. But I really think they need to, kind of like reignite those type of roles and stuff, because man, it's like they have, honestly, I'll be very honest here. As much as we're in this mix, as much as we're in this loop of the things that we're building and working on, 80% of the features on the AI side of Google, I hear about from Sekou.
What that is so true, and I would say I was a big consumer of the Google Developers channel, Google for Developers channel on YouTube. Early on when I was first starting out, and I think over time have had some really, really good hosts. Some are better than others, and it would be great if they invested in, you know, that where you could get like a Kevin Rose or like someone, you know, that's going to be that generation's tech person to kind of be a consistent presence across that. I think they have space for that. As time went on, I thought that the videos that they were kind of, there was no, because everything is so, they have so many different products that I, you know, couldn't follow along really. A lot of the stuff wasn't applicable to anything that I was working on. So I just kind of, you know, fell out of watching any updates on that channel. And but they could totally utilize that more. Right now, I mean, I'm looking at the view counts, and it seems like it's, I mean, somewhat impactful. They got about the same, I mean, averaging about the same average as like a kind of lower mid-tier podcast, it seems like. Or lower mid-tier YouTube channel. But they could do a lot better. And that to me means that they're just reaching one specific target audience. They're not really, you know, their audience isn't as diversified as it should be, because they should be covering way more than this with the amount of hungry developers out there.
Yeah, there was a DevRel engineer. I cannot remember her name for the life of me. I've talked to her a few times. I'm actually looking for her right now. I want to give her a shout out because she does a sensational job of breaking down you know, technologies and tools and things like that. And like all of her videos are well received, easy to understand, easy to follow, you know, everything. The repo and stuff is always included. The repo and everything is always included. And I've built a few projects based off, you know, some of the stuff that she shared. I want to say her name is Dale, and I can't find her and everything. It'll pop up eventually. But yeah, I really think they need to reinvest into that role or into that department. Because like I said, most of the tools and things they have and doing anything, I find out through Sekou, and that's pretty bad for somebody who's in the market every day.
Yeah, there's no personality. You know, I would trust Sekou way more than I would one of these videos, because I don't know, like, I mean, just like I would a consistent host that's giving me good advice over time. But I'm like, why is it always someone different? Why is it always a new person up here? Like, it's never, is everyone busy? You know?
Yeah.
Do y'all put them right back in the engineering pit after you're done? They're doing a video?
Hey, or they can just contact me and I can just be their spokesperson.
That's what I say.
Just, yeah.
That's what I say.
Figure it out.
Yeah, definitely. Not free though. I'm not free. So
no, of course not.
So speaking of Google, one of our favorite tools and stuff Google has built, Google Notebook LM, has now introduced an interactive mode that allows users to engage directly with the AI-generated podcasts and the host. So these features enable personalization interactions during the audio sessions, making a step forward in AI-driven content customization. Additionally, Google has revamped the Notebook LM interface and launched a subscription service. We knew that was coming. Notebook LM Plus, offering enhanced features for businesses and education institutions. Adrian, we'll start off with you, man. Now having the ability to have conversations on the Notebook LM side with their AI generated hosts, what's your thoughts?
I feel like Tony Stark. First off, I feel like Tony Stark. I remember watching Iron Man 1, and I remember seeing him talk to Jarvis, and how I was like, oh my God, I cannot wait until we get to the level where I can be like, hey, can you figure this out? I got to go and grab lunch, and then come back, and then you're at another. They've made progress, and I think that that's the promise of the AI agents, which I think next year we're going to continue to see that be the topic of discussion, like the broad theme of AI in general is the agent conversation. But I'm so excited to try this feature out of from Google. I got turned on to this, of course, by Sekou, because that's where I get all my Google news. He was like, yo, this is a different way of learning. This is a real different way. Like, you can listen to a podcast, and when in the same, you can listen to a podcast that sounds engaging and kind of keeps my attention, but meanwhile it's talking about like a code base. Like, it's insane. It's insane. I can give this thing a GitHub repo and it can make a podcast about it. That's amazing. I can listen to that on the car ride, pick up my son, come back. I may be ready to get started. Possibly. Who knows?
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing. And I think that the next step for this is going to be because the next having a conversation, being able to ask follow-up questions, huge. It's awesome. The next step, I believe, is going to be maybe an interactive presentation piece to Google Notebook LLM, where they'll be able to maybe possibly create. Can they already do flowcharts and graphs in there?
Can it? I believe it can. I believe it can create.
Yeah,
like
you can create markdown response and convert it into flowcharts.
Yeah.
I think that what's going to happen is that's going to maybe be all incorporated into like directly incorporated into Notebook LLM, because I can see how, as you're using this product, say you're using it for work, there's going to be conversion down the road. Like, say you want to use this as a jump off point to make a presentation, or to I don't know, maybe make some audio snippets or something like that. Who knows? But like, I think that the presentations really is really obvious. That's a real obvious piece, like an integration with Google Slides or something like that, to allow you to, by voice, create a presentation. Which, in my like, the way that I feel about it is that I would much rather do it that way, because it would allow me to be more natural in just conversationally coming up with a presentation. Marlon, I think that you could possibly use this too, because off the cuff, you're a great speaker. So as you're going and talking through it, there'll be so many gems within there, and to be able to easily just talk out what you're talking about, easily just isolate those into different slides, that'd be amazing. So I think presentations may be the next step, and I'm excited to try it out. Those are my thoughts.
Yeah. You know what? It does actually. It can create graphs and things like that inside a Notebook LLM.
Already,
which is, yeah. So I've been looking at the Notebook LLM Plus thing. I think is quite interesting. I'm gonna play around with it. I haven't actually gotten it just yet. But hopefully I will over there next week. So I still use the regular Notebook LM, the one that's free to use. And I think the idea of being able to like join a conversation, I think is novel. But I do like the passive learning piece of just like feeding it information, and creating those summaries, creating this. We always talk about the podcast part of Notebook LM, but it can do other things like create study guides and things like that for you. Just recently, I was using it for like I was doing some research on some different like network architectures, and you can go to not sure everyone knows this, but AWS, I think Google too. You can go to their website and they have like their guides on how to do something. And you can just print off the whole thing as a PDF if you want.
Yeah.
So I've just been shortcutting, going to those sites, because reInvent just happened, the AWS's big conference, and they came up with a bunch of new features. And kind of rather than just kind of like just going through each thing and hoping I'm landing on the most interesting part of their updates or changes to their the new feature sets, I'm printing off the PDFs, I'm feeding them into Notebook LM, Notebook LM has a little bit of information just about who I am based off of like resumes and things like that I've given it. And I set out to create a podcast on this subject. And I can also refer to the actual the videos that were done, the deep dives at reInvent. Add them as a source, and I can just create a deep discussion that's on something super niche within AWS that no one else cares about except for me, and I get the depth that I need. So hey, selfishly, like it's amazing. That's it. I think that's what the difference between what Notebook LM provides versus what research looked like before. Like when you're doing research, you have to kind of like build it to like an audience, right? So that many people can consume it and that you're hitting certain, communication styles and stuff like that. But when I'm using a Notebook LM, I'm essentially just making it for myself. It can be as deep or not as deep as I want, and I have that
Yeah,
full control. So I think that's pretty awesome. I want to see how it works with the Plus. I'm gonna try that out over the holidays and see what I can do with that. Um, but yeah, I'm a fan. I really want companies to start integrating that into their peer review process, because what's a better research project than like reviewing your interactions with a teammate and having to do a review on them with a summary of all this information. We don't want, I think it's good just doing, it's good at doing research without opinions. That's what I want. I want research, but I don't want your opinions because I want to form my own opinion. Notebook LM, I think, is good for that point of it. So, yeah.
absolutely
Yeah.
right. In the eight, like when you're searching, when that's something in the past, what we've had to rely on is for the order of operations has been the official super technical document, white paper or whatnot comes out, and then you wait for the journalists to read that and then really summarize, disseminate, down that information from the people who are actually working on it. Now, you typically have to read 5 or 6 of these some other articles in order to get the full understanding and or get a large portion of the understanding of what you're looking for. But in between that, it's just like you said, there's a lot of fluff. So when you're trying to figure out something specifically for a product that you're trying to use or a service within AWS, a lot of the people who are writing about that maybe won't delve into that specific side. So you won't be able to get just the cliff notes that you want. And that's, that as someone who was self-taught, I would say that early on, like I would have much preferred this route rather than relying on a lot of, you can get technical misinformation too out there.
Yeah.
And, the pitfalls with that along the way, I could have avoided.
Yeah. So I found them. The developer advocates I was talking about for long. I want to mention 2 other people too as well. Lawrence Moroney. He was the global AI advocacy lead at Google. I'm very surprised to see Lawrence left Google in June of this year. He was there for 10 years and stuff, doing as many work. You may have seen Lawrence partner with partner and stuff like with like the AI fund and some other like education platforms or anything. So he's a person who's really good at the the advocacy part. Another person who is really good, Holt Skinner, is a developer advocate at Google. He's a person where he worked on like Vertex AI, but also too I follow a lot of his works when he was working on Google's Document AI. They had some really great things very, very early, and he was kind of the only one. And I got to meet all 3 of these people and stuff in person and talk to them about stuff too as well. And then the young lady I was talking about before is Dale Markovitz. She's been at Google quite some time, and everything, and so she's an AI engineer, and she's been doing some advocacy work and stuff too as well and stuff there.
Shout out to them.
Yeah, I had the privilege of talking to all 3 of them and stuff like that. But like, these are the type of people you definitely got to like get more behind and put more content and stuff in front of these people to get the world stuff to know about these tools. Looks like they just lost Lawrence. Yikes. He was there for a decade and stuff. But anyway, so yeah, that was gonna bother me if I can find that. Yeah, Google Notebook LM. Yeah, I think this is very interesting. I think what Adrian just said to as well, the aspect of like, a new way of learning, a new way of receiving information, because like one thing to like read, and everything is another thing. One thing to listen, but it's another thing to like, recite back and forth and have conversation, because then it'll stick, and stuff, even more. And so, yeah, I mean, I think this is beautiful, and stuff like that. I'd be interested to see, the length of how it works and thing. So meaning if it becomes like an hour long podcast and you're having conversations back and forth and everything, what is the cutoff point where you're talking about now hallucinations will start to kind of creep in and start to make up things. There's got to be a cutoff point. I won't believe you whatsoever if you tell me that it can just do this 2 hours at high accuracy, everything.
Yeah. It seems like it automatically. I haven't generated one that's open over 15 minutes. It seems like it's always short, kind of a short project.
Yeah, and everything. I guess like even if it's 15 minutes, but you're now having conversations back and forth and stuff with it, I mean that can stretch out to like an hour.
Oh,
so the new LM Plus, one of the things it gives you is supposed to be 5 times more overview like window. So you should be able to do a lot more of them. You're supposed to be able to do customizations of the style of the interview and the length of the response that you want back from them. So I think that's kind of interesting. But there's some team aspects to it too. I think the one challenging thing is like they're not releasing it to unless you're a business
closed box
school, like they're not enterprise. They're not, you're not going to be able to get access, I think, to this tool without that. So I think they are getting it toward businesses. I think, like, I have a workspace account, so I'm probably going to end up getting access to it through that process. Actually, we have a workspace account, so we should actually have access to this now.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's I mean, I think this is, I think it's another great thing. And also too, we mentioned what weeks ago that we knew that eventually this is going to have a cost to it as well. We knew the paid version was coming very soon, and stuff.
Yeah, it's way too good.
Yeah. And
way too good to be free.
And here we are. So yeah, moving on. I tell you what's not free, NVIDIA at all. Ever. All right, so here we go. NVIDIA's Jetson has now, and NVIDIA just announced everything. Jetson Orion Nano, a super developer kit. NVIDIA has unveiled the Jetson Orion Nano Super Developer Kit, a compact AI computer priced at $249, designed for developers, students, and hobbyists. It offers 70% higher neural processing power, a 50% increase in memory bandwidth compared to its predecessor, making it a cost-effective solution for AI and robotics. It also too has a memory bandwidth at 102 gigabytes, a CPU frequency at 1.7 gigahertz. And some people are very, very excited and stuff about this. Shout out to Rabbit. Anyway, moving forward.
That's exactly what I was going to bring up. That's exactly what I was going to say. I was going to bring up Rabbit because that's the same thing. Like, this is what that was, right? Am I mistaken? Like, this is what this should have been.
It's a million times better,
because it's on device, right? It's an on device. The LLM is right there, right? That's how it operates. So I know. Oh man, yeah! Shout out to Rabbit, man. This is exactly, and they got the nerve to make it $249 too. Like, and with a small form factor, you know what I mean? That you could totally just put the Rabbit case right over. You know what I mean? It's just it is that. It's a Raspberry Pi.
So just for context too, here are some of the previous projects that people work on with the predecessor. Somebody built a jet bot, which is a voice activated robot that has vision and voice capability. Somebody built an AI powered photorealistic talking avatar that's on a TV that has a camera attached to it, where you can have conversations back and forth with a digitized avatar. Somebody built it's called an eye for an eye item, which is an indoor robot that maps your home and remember where things are, so it can help you find things. Somebody else built an escalator people tracker, which is a computer vision solutions for detecting and tracking people in large retail spaces. Somebody built a virtual try-on for customer clothing, enhancing retail shopping using Jetson Orion. Yeah, there's several different things or everything. And so somebody built an AI-powered application helping the visually impaired see what's around them using this predecessor. So there's a lot of capability and everything around it, particularly now with LLMs and stuff into play, and also too has that component for not only vision models for the game, but also vision transformers. And so I think this thing can get very, very interesting very quickly, especially for sure. $249.
And it used to be $500. I mean, yeah, it used to be $500 for their kit, right? So they slashed the price on it. It's running newer hardware. I was looking at someone who was like doing some tests on it, because I haven't gotten a kit yet myself.
Yeah, I'm about to order one.
Yeah, and they were saying that essentially it comes with models that are already tuned for it to run. So like they have the models already are set up to do vision, like being able to identify certain objects and things like that. It has integration to run Whisper locally on it. Like it's a lot. There's a lot. NVIDIA is
not playing fair is what they're doing.
No, they're not. They're not paying for it. They got their own they have their own CPU running inside this, right? That's the other piece of this, right? I feel like they're expanding out on that use case, and that's been a big challenge for them. Is they seriously want to create a CPU, and I think the last check there was like some legal challenges around them creating an actual CPU to go with the GPU, in tandem.
Some like monopolistic kind of thing.
Yeah, I don't know all the details on it, but I know that they like many years ago that was like a push they were trying to make. So I don't know if there is some patent related things or something else going on there, but
So what's the end goal? Do you think that NVIDIA, because we talked about before that NVIDIA has enough money and really right now to really
they're playing with house money.
Yeah, exactly. Playing with house money. Exactly. Is there when I hear that it was $500, now it's $249 and it's upgraded from the previous version, it makes me think that that lower price point could be there to attract more people to buy it, or it could be to liquidate the inventory that they have and just get rid of it, because it's not really if the $500 one wasn't really selling, the combination of the two, lowering the price point, giving this a bit of a bump in power. And the upgrades are significant from the $500 version. So yeah, it's like, are they looking for? Yeah, it's like, is this going to be a thing that in years, are we going to get a next version of this? So like, are they going to keep going with it, or?
Let me jump in, Sekou.
Yeah.
The way I look at this as very similar to I think it's the same approach of what Meta did as far as open source and Llama and everything, to give the foundation to the market and allow the market to show you where things are headed, how creative things can be built and things like that. They're just doing this on the hardware side, and you do this and everything at a cheaper rate right now, where hardware materials and things where cost is coming down, and so now you're about to see an influx of building, everything from robotics to IoT devices and stuff, anyway. And so I think this is their way of kind of like getting into the market, because, obviously they're going to want to, at some capacity, you're going to have to come back to NVIDIA when you start to scale out and everything in some way and everything. They're just doing this kind of, let's call it like for the startup world and stuff, if you will.
So this is my take, right? NVIDIA is, everything that all leads back to their core product, right? Is these GPUs that they have that they're cornering the market on. At the end of the day, you still need to train these things, right? You're not training it on the Jetson. You're not going to do that. You're going to use NVIDIA's infrastructure, and since you're using Jetson, that means that they can provide you the software development ecosystem to get it from training it into Jetson seamlessly. Now they have not only got you purchasing hardware, but they got you purchasing their SaaS product there. So
NVIDIA ecosystem.
The video ecosystem, that's what it's about. So for them to lower the cost and make more of these systems appear throughout the world is a huge benefit for them, because they make so much money on, all different ends of it. So I don't know. This is one of those areas where I think this is maybe the good parts of capitalism. Can I say that? Right? This is where the innovation that we talk about.
Carefully.
Listen, I feel like there's a dark side and there's upside to everything. But
for sure,
this is what's happening. They're making a device that is almost like marketing for the rest of their more expensive products.
Yeah.
Right. So hobbyists, people who are building things for new businesses and things like that, are going to benefit from this.
Yeah.
You know who's going to benefit the most? NVIDIA. That's how it works.
Yeah. And exactly, you build this for the hobbyist developers and everything, but I think it's beautiful that you focus on and you're preparing to bring that influx back, because hardware is about to scale, and stuff. And so, this is like, hey, the ground floor and everything, which eventually you have to come back to stuff, to us, anyway. Come back into the NVIDIA ecosystem. And so I definitely think it's an interesting thing. I'm definitely going to order one probably this weekend. And also too, I'm going to order some not Orion, was it not the X-Real glasses? What's the open source glasses we were talking about?
It wasn't the X-Real, was it?
No.
It was it's gonna bother me, but I'm going to order both of those and everything to see if I can do some cross playing and stuff here. Really, if I can really break some stuff and see how far I can get with this before something starts to melt.
Yeah,
because it's exactly what we were talking about before, when it comes to the ability to make these AI products that are specific. I think NVIDIA is like empowering people to do exactly that. Like, as we mentioned, like how on board, like in your car, the AI does too much. Maybe it needs to do less.
Yeah. Oh, I just found why NVIDIA could not create a CPU. It's because in order to get access to the x86 architecture, they would have had to license from Intel. And because they'd have to license Intel and they're creating a competing product, they would not be able to do that. Now they are able to create ARM chips, right? Which is a little bit, it's different. You don't have to, doesn't require any licenses from Intel in order to do that, or Intel or AMD to do that. So that's, that I think that's more connected with the future we're going to see is we are going to see eventually some more ARM NVIDIA chips out there. So
brilliant labs.
CPUs. CPUs from NVIDIA that are
CPUs.
ARM?
Yeah, okay. CPUs. That's what I meant. Yeah, I meant to say. Yeah.
and then also Brilliant Labs, who's the glasses, open source glasses.
Oh, Brilliant
That's
Labs,
right.
yeah.
Yeah.
So we probably should have a segment talking about these glasses. And you know what?
And actually,
don't we have something that something
Mm-hmm.
on this? Because like, man, I feel like that is we're actually approaching like a big turning point here. And you know, with that, why don't we just go into the next segment here?
Yeah.
You want
but
to kick us
before
off?
we do,
Oh yeah.
before we do, I gotta say, Marlon, you're absolutely right about the llama comparison when it comes to the I'm sorry, just kind of
The strategy.
market, yeah, for that, because Meta
Mhm.
did the same thing. I think that their Quest headset was underpriced, and from the rip, I think that they like chose that price point. And that's a hardware device, of course, but like they chose that lower price point for just to get it out there to everyone, and that seemed to be effective.
Yeah, I think man, yeah, this is gonna get you're really excited here. Let's start the new segment, and then we'll dive into everything that's up here. Speaking of, our friends over at Meta has now sent over some smart glasses updates. Has updated its Ray-Ban Meta smart glasses to include real-time AI video capabilities and live translation features. Users can now receive real-time translations for multiple languages and utilize AI-powered video functionalities, enhancing user experience and expanding the glasses to practical applications. So I think so I, now
Yeah, what do
IoT
you
is
think?
about to
Yeah,
get IoT is
yeah.
about to get very, very interesting. It's going to get very, very exciting. I mean, a couple episodes ago, we saw what the Harvard student did with their glasses or anything. We were taking a snapshot of somebody's faces and, using image recognition, everything to go find that person, on LinkedIn or the platforms and kind of like getting back, essentially all like their information and stuff and everything about them. And so, I think that these things are about to get very interesting. One of my favorite examples I saw some years ago, and I'm not sure what happened to the company. I can't remember the name of the company, but it was a company it was through their phone, and they had a AR application where basically they will create a grocery list of items they want to buy, and then once when they go to the store, they pull up their phone, and the phone will basically direct them to like where each item is and stuff in the store with like arrows and things like that, and stuff. And so, I think that's a fun use case. I think the vision impaired will definitely have a lot of fun and stuff with this.
Because they don't have enough fun. I say generally, people with vision impairment, man, we need to focus on them more.
Bro, I'm gonna tell you right now.
I gotta get a new prescription.
Giving a vision impaired individual, allowing them to select the type of person that they like, who they find attractive and find pretty and everything, and having some real-time AR IoT glasses and everything that can tell you like, oh, hey,
hot or not.
yeah, you might not want to say that or everything, but that's when it has a speaker and stuff in the ear and it's like that. And so, I mean, it's several different like use cases and opportunities and stuff like that. And I think it's also exciting to just like now when you're talking about things like brilliant labs and everything, and ability to have open source hardware and open source software, glasses, and then potentially combine these things now, with Ingestion Orion as well. I mean, bro, you can. I mean, there goes your weekends for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, because it can get so fun. It can get so fun. It can get so deep. And I think this kind of now just comes back to, how creative and everything, you can be now, to the ability to then have a vision model, kind of own device, if you will, with your glasses that can, you're having, I know in those glasses you can have real-time API connected to it as well, and stuff, and having conversations. Now you're in a multi-model. Oh, man, bro, like it can get fun, deep, overwhelming, and time-consuming extremely quickly.
Mm-hmm. I just had an app idea. We're going to call it Cyrano.
Cyrano.
And Cyrano. We're going to call it Cyrano. And basically, it's going to be your Riz doctor. It'll basically be, hold on, hear me out. Be with you on the day. We've seen Roxanne, the movie with Steve Martin, with the when he had the long nose. Y'all remember that? Back in the day? When the fireman, like, he was trying to get with the girl, but then he really liked it. So he was giving him what to say, feeding him lines and everything, and he ended up coming off charming. Cyrano. In comes Cyrano. Yeah, that's where my mind goes with it.
I just feel like a Black Mirror episode right now. I can't imagine what's the folks that do all the dating apps, the Match Group. I can't wait to see what products they come out with this.
I know they're in the lab right now.
What's gonna happen here, right?
You still gotta deliver the Riz properly.
You do.
You're gonna. That's where it's gonna be that one person on screen reading line by line. I think you're incredibly high, and we
it should be faster than that.
Look. Internet area.
I think we all got the uncle. I think we all have an uncle that should be that should be a part of the training data. You know what I mean? You got an uncle that's like kind of perpetually single, but somehow finds himself with a baddie, and that's what that's who's going to be. We're going to recruit to train Cyrano.
Ooh. Okay. Wait, I forgot one thing. Something. So they didn't really announce it. OpenAI, and this kind of connects. They didn't really announce it. They showed it though, which I thought was freaking huge and everything. They were showing a segment of they had an AI, like the 1-800 number and everything. Then they had like an AI agent that was placing a call, everything to call like a store to place an order. Something very interesting that they showed, they didn't discuss very broadly. They said, let me see if I can find it. They said that I see that this store accepts AI orders.
Oh, wow.
It was very subtle. It was very subtle.
They
and they
pulled
just
back the curtain, huh?
Yeah. They said, I see that this store accepts AI orders. Ladies and gentlemen, the answer to your fucking question was AI remove jobs. The answer is yes and everything, because now you're about to have a company, a startup that is going to build a integration for like a Shopify and everything for businesses to integrate on their website, whatever, to receive AI orders for your personal agent, for another store agent to place calls on your behalf and everything. It's gonna be somebody who built that shit, and we probably should.
Well, let's take a step. That's all right. That's big. That's the big picture. I can see that, right? I think what you'll probably see next year, I feel like this is gonna happen. This is my 2025 prediction. Instead of Apple Pay, AI Pay. That's what you're gonna see.
Ooh.
Yes, that's absolutely. Coinbase is working on that, by the way, too, as well.
AI Pay? Okay.
So Coinbase is working on AI. It's like AI financial agents, everything. And so what's going to happen is everything is just like you put money in your wallet, you put money into your wallet and everything. Basically, you would give your AI agent either full access, which I probably won't recommend, or probably won't. It probably won't happen start for quite time. But let's say, for example, you put $500 to your AI agent, everything, and your AI agent will then have basically to work with the $500. What do you do with that? So now your AI agent can simply just sit on a website looking for orders, looking for that shirt that you've been trying to it has been sold out for months or anything. It is sit on that website and it'll use that $500. Once it finds it, purchase it and things like that. Your AI agent also will be attached to that bank account too as well. That once it does want to make a phone call or place an order at Chipotle and everything, you'll just say, hey, can you go ahead and place my order for Chipotle and just have it delivered to me? And then boom, put your phone fucking back down and everything. And it'll use that pocket and everything. And so what's going to happen is you're going to have multiple integrations of the wallet. Yes, Sekou, right on fucking point. The wallet, the Google wallet, and your AI wallet and everything. OpenAI will probably get into the financial side of things or everything. And then you will have companies, service, and products and everything that will be able to connect and everything to make purchases on your behalf, simply by fucking voice command.
However, there's a thing that with that in and of itself, I think that that's fine, but that's Rabbit. That's the promise of Rabbit, right there, or the promise of any kind of chat-based chatbot ordering system. It's you're going to be able to load it, or it'll handle your financial transaction. The escrow, being able to put your money in there and have it manage it is good, but I'm going to also add the ability to manage your budget. So if you're driving, there's two things that I want to add to that idea, and that is the ability to actually manage your budget so that it's with your goals. So you got 10-year goals. It would be great if the AI agent was like, "Hey, this is going to throw you off track for that. We ain't going on that trip." You know what I mean? Also, home inventory. So if I am able to attach that to an inventory of just what I have in here, just as far as groceries, say it's sensor, fridge kind of thing, aware thing. I'm sure GE can, so, or with the NVIDIA thing, you can actually make this, but to be able to know what's in your fridge, what's in your pantry, so that when you're driving past the grocery store, they'll be able to be like, "Yeah, by the way, you need, go ahead."
Watch this. Watch this. Hold on, Sekou. Everything. Amazon already has this, by the way. Amazon, they have they have it's like pads that you can put in your pantry, and it weighs. So it's like pads and stuff you put in your pantry, things like that, or on below the milk, and so it weighs. And so once it gets to a certain amount of weight and everything, it can kind of automatically add it to cart, then for reorder and stuff, what it may be. So here's the whole flow, everything. This AI
that's whack. This is better than that idea. Yeah.
So here's the whole flow of this AI-centric world and everything, using your example and stuff there, Sekou. I'm sorry, Adrian, and then using your example stuff there. So basically, you have a refrigerator and everything, or you have items and stuff, anything that you put in there and stuff as well. So now it sees that the dog food is low, your shampoo is low, the milk is low, and things like that. Boom, boom. You get a notification to your phone and everything. Would you like to place reorder and everything? And so boom, yes, it does replace reorder and everything. Here's where the combination what's the name said this a couple years ago. Dang it, Sekou, what's the name that was over at Dev Color? He was one of the top people at Dev Color. Now he's at Peloton. Nick Caldwell said that the world is moving to can you connect one platform to another. It's the only thing it's going to focus on moving forward and everything. So boom, you get a push notification that these items are low. Would you like to place a reorder to these items? Yes, and everything. Watch this. That doesn't just happen over line and everything. It can also happen in person. That order gets sent to Target. And everything, okay, and everything, and then boom. Now that Target sends a notification to your Tesla that item is ready for pickup. Your Tesla sends you a notification. Would you like me to go pick up the item? Yes. Tesla fucking pulls out of the driveway, everything goes to your local Target area, parks in the pickup item and stuff in there, sends a notification that I'm here and everything. A person comes out, opens the trunk, put the item and everything and stuff in your trunk and everything, drives back to the freaking house, and then boom, you're just parking back in right up. If, by the way, we don't have the Tesla robot by then.
See, that's why I think it's always interesting when I hear you talk, right? It sounds like you're providing prophecies to us here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Marladamus.
Marladamus is in the building here. Yeah.
Because I'm just like, why we even got to get the Tesla involved? I can see if I need an alibi. You know what I mean? If I need an alibi, hey, look, I wasn't there. Look at my car.
Look, watch this.
You know what? Look, I wasn't there.
Even then, because it's even at Amazon's best, you're still talking about 2-day shipping. Why not just go get it in 30 minutes?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Oh
so
yeah.
you just send a Tesla to go pick it up.
Mm-hmm. Send a Tesla. And you test a robot. You got to test a robot to go and got to get the groceries and put in the car, or a little drone drops it into a little sunroof that opens up.
Yeah. I put the link to the video in the chat, in our private chat, if you want to share it, where it says that store accepts AI orders.
Oh, okay. Let me check. Let me save this. That is that's totally okay. But this is not on the topic, but I have to ask. Did you guys hear the latest stuff about Waymo?
Oh, how they expand it internationally?
In Tokyo, yeah.
Uber,
it's
Uber like, yo, they might. That's what they're saying. I'm just saying.
I still my prediction. I don't know. I know Tesla is great at some of these things, but Google is doing it. They have a brand that is trusted. I've talked to folks who said man, would I want to wait for Lyft or a Waymo? I feel like the Waymo is way more relaxing to be in out here, and
that's so wild.
And the preference is shifting from regular rideshare to Waymo. Taking a Waymo. Waymo is becoming the Xerox of this, automated
oh my God,
driving experience now. Tesla robotaxis, they're late. They missed the ball. They should have shipped this product, shipped whatever they're doing a long time ago. I don't see Google or Waymo getting off the gas anytime soon. Because that's people say, I want to take a Waymo. They don't say I want to take a robotaxi. They say a Waymo.
Wait, and they're gonna be calling the robotaxi Waymo. You know what I mean? If it keeps going, they'll just be called that.
It's like, oh, you mean the new Waymo?
Yeah.
You mean the Tesla Waymo?
Wait, hold on.
Yeah.
So hold on. You said Waymo or Lyft. Lyft has autonomous driving?
No. Just saying that instead of using Lyft or Uber, folks are using Waymo, and there is a shift in preference toward using Waymos in the Bay Area that I did not expect. There's so many
experiences using them. Yeah, they must be doing a good job.
I've had experience with them. They're friction. It is very. They've made it so frictionless. So they've gotten a lot of things right. Now, of course, it gets stuck in a roundabout. You hear these interesting stories, but oddly enough, they feel more like promotion than things that are detrimental to
we got brand. Stuck we got stuck in a roundabout in a Waymo, and I got proposed to or something like that. It's like a bright side. Thanks, Waymo.
Okay. So I think you're missing one big ingredient why Waymo still doesn't have a safe lead.
What's that?
We talked about it earlier, actually, and we talked about how Apple does it, where Apple typically is not first, but they come in and they integrate things, same thing like NVIDIA is doing, into the ecosystem of Apple. So a smartwatch that's been out for years from various other companies, and then the Android have it, and then all of a sudden the Apple Watch comes out because now it integrates into the ecosystem. It's the same capability that Tesla has. It's simply a product and a service that can integrate to the ecosystem and everything that somebody already has. So having the Tesla app already on your phone, having a Tesla already, understanding and stuff how it works, the ability to just simply connect your profile to the car as soon as you hop in and continue watching your Netflix show to go into your next destination is a large advantage over Waymo because they have millions of Teslas already on the road. So it doesn't matter that Waymo necessarily is already in the market and everything. Like, yes, that still gives them the capability to make an impact and everything. But Tesla already has a developed ecosystem and everything. You can't experience Waymo outside of simply that one offering and everything. There are several ways to experience Tesla and some others, whatever everything, which also creates brand awareness and it puts you in the ecosystem and everything. It's the same thing of me sharing my Tesla key with my cousin who comes in for Christmas, and now he's drove it for the weekend. Like, oh man, I want a Tesla and everything. It's not, you don't go to the next market and say, man, I want a Waymo. Everything that doesn't happen and everything and stuff of it.
I still like as even
It's
being
that
a
ecosystem.
being a Tesla driver, and much as I appreciate Teslas, like I come out here to Philly, ain't no one, people aren't driving Teslas like that. Like they're not. The rest of the world is
What, in
not
California?
driving. No, I'm in Philadelphia right now.
Oh, I'm about to say,
I don't.
40%
You don't see.
of all EVs are in California.
You don't see Teslas in these cold weather areas. You don't see it in middle America. Like it's yes,
Do you see
they have
Waymo?
we will. We're gonna be in Tokyo. They're gonna be
Exactly.
in.
You
They're
will.
expanding,
You're
but
not having that right now though.
they're expanding. That's what I'm trying to say. That they're expanding to these
Like,
different markets,
so
and you know what? They are becoming a trusted brand. You cannot catch up to being a trusted brand. That's like Tesla is not going to get to that same level of that because they still have their, as much as I think they're trying to overturn one of the things that made it so they could not test automated their self-driving cars was just there was a bad crash which injured some folks. In a Tesla, folks using autopilot and things like that. Actually, there's a recent one in the Bay Area with a Cybertruck with some I don't want to go too much details on it, but it was pretty messed up one that happened out there. Waymo's not getting those. They're not getting that type of press right now, and because self-driving car is not about how much I like my app. It's more about my safety. That's going to stop your grandma from getting in the Waymo with you is whether she feels safe in it, whether it's a
And
trusted
price.
brand. Like, my family member who, drives a Buick could care less about a Tesla, but they might be interested in being in a Waymo. Just saying.
watch this.
Yeah.
I just realized how pro Google I am. Just realized.
Yeah, I'm trying. I feel like I'm the objective viewpoint here a little bit in this conversation, and like I can totally see both arguments. I feel like it would not be difficult. I mean, because if you talk about ecosystem, Google is like has a crazy ecosystem, like and the potential there. I do see what Marlon is talking about, just like where they are now. What's the status now? Like the status now is that there's a lot of these integrations and like along the way, and that makes for a better user experience. However, Seiku's totally right in that it's a lot of it is about the perception. And if you're looking at the news coming out of these places, that's why I was shocked that because we've been covering this for like a while, and I was skeptical about the self-driving car to come out of nowhere. What I thought is that they were going to turn on all the Teslas and put them into taxi mode so that you can just taxi out your Tesla, and then make your own money. That's what I thought the move was going to be. But while that's not happened yet, it's still a possibility. It still could happen. So, but that's not going to in the areas where, like, say, like here, I would say that we have Teslas here, but I would say it's about one in every 60 cars. About one in every 60 cars is a Tesla in a given day.
Watch this.
If Waymo was to come here, but they would have full, like, it wouldn't be any competition really in that space for the self-driving. Just if they got here first, and if they get to Virginia first, then that I would say that it would be first movers advantage if they were able to, not have a string of bad news come out of it. It would be first mover.
Yeah. Okay. Here we go. You guys ready for this?
Mm-hmm.
There are roughly, as of today, there are roughly about 700 Waymo cars on the road every day. 700. 300, most of 300 of those are in San Francisco, another 200 Phoenix, another couple of hundred in LA, Austin, and Atlanta. So we're talking about under 1,000 cars in the market. Every single day.
But that's like looking at Thanos. That's like looking at Thanos and being like, he only has one ring now. Okay.
No. Because you mentioned brand and you mentioned all these things and stuff, right? Everything. And nowhere such. There are almost 300 million Teslas on the road.
All right. Which ones?
Wait,
1 second.
Million Teslas on the road. On the road. This is why I say, if they simply just turn on that feature, everything, if it's a consumer car and everything, whatever it may be, everything.
They can't turn the feature on, though. That's what the thing is. The problem is they cannot turn that. They're not ready for that.
Okay. Watch this. Let's go. Okay. Let's say they can't, and they gotta build the robo taxis and stuff, right? You're telling me it's gonna be hard for a company that already has 300 million products on the road to catch up with 1,000? To catch up with 1,000?
I would say that there could be some difficulty in that we got to be looking at really like P&Ls and stuff like that, like where they're at in the books, because if they're going to roll out a robo-taxi thing, that's further that we can suspect that they would go into.
By the way,
to make that catch up. And
by the way, Tesla has more data on self-driving than Waymo does. They have more data though. They have more data and stuff and everything than Waymo does across the board. Even though, watch this, Google and Waymo is typically first to consumer. They were first. I'm sorry, they were first research. The first self-driving car I saw or anything was it was at Google headquarters, and it was like 2016 or something like that, or anything. And so, but it was like they only had like 5 vehicles and stuff like that. And they had those domes on top of the car that was spinning. It was like Saturns or something like that, and everything. And so, like, yes, they have more data and stuff in there and everything. And so they have the ability and everything across the nation, by the way, not just in 5 cities, across the nation, they have more data than Waymo does.
You're going to sit up here and tell me the people who came out with maps got less data than Tesla. They came out with maps.
I think it's
the self-driving data. They have more self-driving data. They have more, in that aspect and everything, because they already have that software on the road. Now you're just applying it to a new hardware.
But then we got to be talking about what matters.
Wait, because we take a step back. Yes, they have lots of self-driving data, but I do not believe that them going from this hardware 3 to hardware 4 means that it is useful data between those versions. going from using, what is it called? They had the radar,
LiDAR.
lidar
You
to
know,
cameras is two different things. Like, you know, and the fact that, you know what, at the end of the day, you know, they're operating with people using self-driving and turning off. Like, actually, how I use it. Like, it is just a glorified cruise control for me.
it's supervised.
Like,
Yeah.
supervised, right? But allowing it to be on during more real world situations, I think that's happening in Waymo because it's getting stuck in roundabouts. They're solving roundabouts. Like,
It's such a,
have you felt safe enough to go through a roundabout with your self driving? I have not. I've seen a roundabout, but like, turning this off. I don't know how this is gonna work.
The question is, do I feel safe going through a roundabout with myself driving? That's
That is a question.
I'm an individual that is on. I'm on self-driving from the bottom of Florida to Atlanta the entire way. The only time I turn it off is when it's go time to charge.
But those are straight lines, though. Those are straight lines, though.
I wouldn't give a damn. It is still going and it's still working and everything. And by the way, for hours at a time, that's a 12-hour drive. That's a 12-hour drive and everything. Like, I've done it from Atlanta to DC, which is another 12-hour drive. I've done it from Miami to Texas, which is like a 22-hour drive and everything. That data matters, and the ability that it has the capability to do so at a highly efficient level. Yes, it's going to mess up. Yes, it's going to have those issues or anything. But when you're taking that data and stuff and you're storing it and everything, and so an ability to attach it to a new hardware and everything, bro. When they have this, Waymo doesn't have a chance. They don't have a chance.
I think it's just way more dimensions, right? Highways. Great. That sounds. I'm sure there's lots of good mileage of that because folks use cruise control. They'll pull from this all the time, right? But when you're in San Francisco and you have, you know, dogs, you have old ladies, you have homeless people walking out the street. And, yeah,
there's more Teslas in San Francisco than there is Waymos.
Yeah, but the amount of folks that you will see turn on self-driving and well, let's see, that are running self-driving, I would say no. There are more Waymos probably that have self-driving turned on at any given time because they're all self-driving than folks in San Francisco using it because it's not actually that reliable. Exactly. And it's not that reliable, and it's scary to have, like, you know, people who want to randomly cross the street or not obey the stop sign or the light and things like that. But not that, I don't know.
I can't say what I want to say right now with your loyalty towards Google because we're on LinkedIn, but when we go off.
That's so funny. That's so funny. Yeah.
Can't say what I really want to say right now.
I think you're both. I think you're both right. Like, I definitely think that the fact that you use self-driving as much as you do and you trust it as much as you do, Marlon, actually does matter. Like, you know, in the grand scheme of things, and they do have a lot of data, like a lot of it. But when you get into DC, are you using it when you get into DC?
Oh yeah.
All the way to a destination. So I mean, that's
it depends. So like I've studied the software, you know, as an engineer. I've watched all the Tesla dev days, so I know what the car is good and what it's not good at, everything. And so I know when to turn it off. I know when to use it. I know it's like I can just like zone out. It's like that. And so when it's like a construction area where there's cones pushing into the median and everything, you're not going to be on self-driving. It's like that, you know. So you need to, like, you know, take over and stuff like that for sure. Everything.
Waymo will go right for it.
First of all,
so Waymo is just brave. It's like, that looks dangerous. Let me try it.
Bad boy, 2 wheels.
and then you're in a ditch somewhere trying to figure out how do you open the door.
Uh,
But yeah,
The windshield wipers are going.
I know what it's good at. I know what it's not good at, and everything. I've seen the improvements and stuff over time, and things like that. And so, on a consumer product, it's superior to everything. I've tried Honda self driving, and I haven't even looked at the Honda since. Like, it was the most awful experience I've ever seen in my life. Like, it couldn't even go around a curve properly. It was like veering off a curve and everything. I was like, yeah, get me out of here. And so
that's why they're merging with Nissan, right?
No, that's what you're talking
about. Be better?
Yeah.
They're about to be. Yeah, they're about to merge with Nissan.
In the aspect of self-driving, they're supposed to be better.
Yeah.
That's not the solution.
Oh, no, it's not. It's not better. But I'm just saying that, like, maybe they suck. And then, like, that's why they need this merger. The merger talks,
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. We're going to combine these last 2 segments stuff here. So we got 2 things and stuff here. Sound AI stock has surged. It says Sound AI has experienced a significant stock increase with a 724% rise in 2024, attributed to growing demand for its AI voice technology. The company's solutions are now implemented in over 10,000 restaurants, including major clients like Chipotle and Krispy Kreme. Analysis suggested that SoundHound is poised to become a major platform in the AI market. And then 11 Labs has announced a new Flash model. Says their latest text-to-speech model capability of generating speeches in 75 milliseconds plus application and network latency. Flash is designed for a low latency conversation voice agent and supports multi-languages, providing developers a tool for creating responsive AI-driven voice applications. The world of AI voice. Sekou, man, let's start with you. What's your thoughts stuff here?
Oh yeah, so I think the fact that SoundHound is connecting to the big companies for using them as a voice provider, I think that's super useful. They're definitely gonna get a good amount of traction in 2025. I feel like with that. 11 Labs, I look at that like that's like the Twilio. They have that level of potential, right? It's one thing I loved about Twilio, because a lot of folks, a lot of engineers.
Twilio have a voice feature as well.
They do. I wouldn't be surprised if they bought 11 Labs or something like that. But
yeah,
actually, I suggest y'all do that, because that would be a great matchup right there. But the thing I love about 11 Labs is their development tools. They're so easy to use. Like, I can just get in there and mess around and create something interesting. Essentially, I would say that their like studio for doing things is better than definitely better than OpenAI as far as that level of integration. But this 75 millisecond thing, I think, is huge, right? 75 milliseconds. You think about human conversation, right? Where we're talking to each other. There's latency in between it. And if you are just, I'll say if you get to like maybe 150 milliseconds, right? The conversation feels disjointed. It feels like awkward pauses in the middle, right? Like you are permissioning me to say something in a way, right? So in like the old like telephony world, we used to have metrics around like if you're facilitating conversation between 2 people, that latency in between there, like there's a sweet spot that we know that whether we are providing the right amount of service and whether we can like add like any additional services on top of your conversation based off of that, right? So if you add in some additional feature sets into some like I'll give you an example, like if you're calling you're calling a 1-800 number, right? And they're talking to you and it's pulling information about you, right? And feeding that into like, saying your name or providing any insights, and it pushes the buffer past say 80, 90 milliseconds. like people will hang up, like, oh, what is this? They'll hang up, right? But if you can push the milliseconds down, then folks feel like it's a natural conversation. They'll engage with it. So the fact that they're able to do this and actually connect it to large language models means that like your robocalls and spam calls can get much worse very quickly. Just gonna say that. Like
Oh wow.
I
Yeah.
expect I
Nefarious.
I expect for the bill collectors and all these different folks are going to be able to engage with you in ways that they've never been able to before. You know, that promotion for that well, those things they invite you to get a pitch in order to go on a trip or something like that. What do you call those things? Oh man, it's escaping me.
Wait.
Uh,
Giveaway? Oh no.
no,
Take my way on a trip.
timeshares. Those
Yeah,
timeshare
timeshare.
things.
Sorry.
Yeah, the timeshares. Yeah. Yeah, those cold calls are going to be way more interesting now. So,
Yeah.
you know, it's we're headed to a little bit of uncanny valley with the fact that we have, you know, you can programmatically create conversations that can engage back and forth with you, and for you not to understand whether it's a human or not. And the fact that I can do that programmatically from just as an individual, not as a company, as one person to do this, like, yeah, it's about to get interesting. So I
they're
don't know.
pushing it. They're pushing for it to be where you have to be a company and stuff now. So like now to have a lot of access to those things, you have to register as A2P. And so basically you have to register a company as A2P to even get access to certain tools and even phone numbers and stuff now via like Twilio and things. And so now they're pushing for you basically be afforded to be registered as a company, so that way it's also easier to track. And if you start doing some creepy and illegal things too around this as well, they can just kind of like shut you down and everything else. And so they're pushing for it and stuff now. A lot of the companies now, I think they're forced to integrate it, where you have to register your business as A2P, and then and A2P stands for application to person.
Application to person, but I don't know that's even that. We know we're moving to more WhatsApp based conversations. We have Facebook Messenger conversations. I feel like these days it's actually in competition the amount of like spam WhatsApp things I get. It's next to like all
Oh,
the
so
spam phone
much.
calls.
Yeah.
Like it's nuts. It's nuts. I actually need to actually get back on WhatsApp because a lot of folks in Africa use WhatsApp because
Yeah.
the data rates are so much cheaper. What was it for like $1? You can make a WhatsApp call versus like $50 to make a phone call
Wow.
in Africa. Yeah.
Wow.
So
What in the world? Infrastructure. Jeez, dude. Like,
Yeah,
yeah.
a lot, and
that's
with
wild.
that too as
But
well.
that's what
There's a
makes
lot
them
of
digital first, too, you know, with a lot of
Yeah, it
things.
makes them
Africa.
digital first.
Yeah.
But like now, hey, add the fact that I can just randomly make up conversations at mass. Like, yeah, we're definitely going to a very interesting space. So I see there's risk. I'm trying to see the upsides of this actually. If you're an entrepreneur, this is wonderful, right?
Yeah.
This
facts,
is it's a great time
facts,
for entrepreneur, right?
facts.
Yeah.
We
Yeah,
we we we've had a conversation with a brand. They're looking for um a what's it called, a voice identification service to
oh,
integrate into their systems. And so basically they will take the last 3 calls and stuff of that person that they verify who this is, and then they want to train the agent to recognize that's their voice. So that way too, it's additional security when they need to log into their account and everything just via over phone. And so there's a name for it. I can't think of what it is top of my head. And so, but things like this and applications like this would need to be built, scale, not only just for your consumer, but for like your insurance, banking, industries. I mean, you might need this at Chipotle to place a catering order now, stuff for your business, and stuff. And so, yeah, there's a lot of opportunity around this area of voice.
So, it just reminds me of I think I'll pass it over after this one, but this reminds me of back in the old days of I used to work in the medical field or technology medical, right? And this is back when we were trying to integrate technology into doctors' offices and things like that. And what they had this metric, it was called patients per hour. Patients per hour. That was like a key metric on how good doctors are, right? If you can do X amount of patients per hour, you're amazing. But a lot of things that doctors do at a doctor's office don't have to do with like the initial like triaging or the initial like the doctor seeing you. It's all the things that lead up to that, right?
Check-ins, verifications.
Check-ins, yeah, verifications, troubleshooting whether your, urgency level, pain level, those are all different things, right?
Yeah.
So that's all I said earlier, like I'm not sure, I'm trying to think about upsides to this. I had a challenge thinking of it. That is one area I think can do a lot of good is in that field, being able to take some of the parts that take a long time and the fact that like the thing that I love about this is that because you're interacting with LLM, that means that you can enrich the conversation that you're gonna have with the person on the other side of that. So I can actually have context about you.
Exactly.
That's deeper than maybe the context I can have with someone who's just started from scratch and has to actually the 20 questions and things like that.
Yep.
So I think that's pretty amazing. Like
I can take a real life application from here. That doctor's office we've been talking about for quite some time. We have integrated simply just a Google Sheets of call log memory for reoccurring patients. And so basically that sheets becomes like a vector database and stuff, if you will, of memory for patients and a summary of the previous call of what happens, not only the previous call, but post appointment summary too as well of what happened. And so then when they called back and they said, hey, Dr. Smith mentioned 2 medicines to pick up. I can't remember which one it was or anything. And it can recall, that from the post summary, everything, and tell them what it was and stuff back over the phone. And that all can be done via like an AI phone agent. And that is like one of those things and stuff that can really be.
Oh, did we lose Marlon?
Oh, there we go. There we go. You froze for 1 second, Marlon.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. A buddy of mine's last night, Hillman's he was at a VC tech individual. He texted me yesterday and he said, yo, how do you think AI was going to be able to disrupt insurance, like insurance industries? And my first response was like a shit ton. My second response was, do you want this from the point of view of a consumer, a VC, or a tech founder? And he responded all and stuff. And so like I took like a 7-minute voice response and everything. I just like end up diving and stuff to it and everything. And so, but this is also too like one of those areas on the voice side where the combination of NVIDIA announced this a couple weeks ago. Their agent infrastructure that they announced, and so the foundation is like a RAG. It's like a RAG application. The foundation is all of the documents, processes, procedures, records, and things like that. And then on top of that, you build agents and stuff. And agents, you give those agents responsibilities and everything. So eventually, you build like a voice agent that takes over the phone lines or anything that recalls information, post appointments, and things like that. But also too, then they have the ability to even write write claims, if you will, and everything in real time. The ability to give a quote and stuff over the phone and stuff in real time, and in simply taking your information and retrieval stuff like and kind of passing it over to give a quote and stuff over the phone. I think the automation and operation side is going to be good for the consumer, and it can kind of make things happen. I also think on the negative side, it's gonna be bad for the consumer because there's not a chance in hell that the price ever goes down on the insurer side of things. And so even though it's automating, even though that you may start using less people and everything, I think the unfortunate part of it is, since we're in a capitalistic society, this also gives institutions the ability to integrate real-time weekly weather updates with a algorithm that decides how it wants to price your insurance. So the fact that it sees that you're probably get a hailstorm and stuff next week, for your car insurance, now you're at a 20% increase in premium just because of the fucking weather and stuff. And so, this is like some of the good and the dark sides and stuff of these things, because also too, this gives industries and insurance companies the ability to hide their pricing strategies behind the algorithm. It's the same thing that Uber does and everything. No matter what you think how Uber works and how they recommend that pricing, you have no fucking clue. Everything. It gives the ability, these industries, to hide their pricing and stuff, how they do that. And it consistently takes over, and not takes over, but it takes advantage, of the consumer and stuff in so many different ways, even in a regulated industry, like insurance, because now this limits the opportunity for invention and creativity from a startup or a couple of individuals who want to come in and offer lower pricing. It's a closed market and everything, for a reason. And then not only now it's a closed market, it's a closed market per state. There's different regulations and rules and everything per state, which makes it insanely difficult, for a Silicon Valley, Texas, New York startup to come in and just offer something, fair, everything, or something something fair, and something also too transparent, and stuff, too as well. And so it makes it incredibly difficult because the system has already been regulated and kind of like fixes stuff in a way. But it's I unfortunately I think that it has some pros and it has some cons stuff to it, and particularly when you put a bloodstream of artificial intelligence into a capitalistic society, because you can best believe these companies and industries are going to figure out how to increase their bottom line, like them podcast airlines are doing right now.
But we've seen the bad parts of this already. I mean, you can look at the news, turn on the news right now, and we see the bad parts about using AI when it comes to and insurance together. So I would say first look at, look at that.
So I think. Oh, sorry. Keep going there.
Oh, but I had a whole other tangent to go with this conversation that really concerns voice and AI overall. But I wanted you to finish what you were saying before I get to that, because I think you had more to say on this specific topic, like that we're talking about, as far as insurance, maybe.
Yeah, I guess what I was trying to say is, like, if the industry is bad, AI is just going to make them just worse.
Yeah.
That's
right? If they're already...
Yeah.
So it's like, it's just going to accelerate the things that you're, like, terrible at. You're just going to be able to do more terrible things at a much higher rate and affect more folks there. But you got to remember, there's two sides to this story, right? That also means that there is more potential to do good at a much higher rate too, right?
Okay.
To counteract those things. So being able to, like, I give you an example, like on the insurance side, the fact that they'll be able to, like, exponentially create a more unfair system of insurance, right? Does that mean that folks that are watchdogs or folks that um, who are trying to protect us from unfair practices that work like that they won't also be using these technologies, right, to accelerate, combating some of that.
Mm.
And also that means that, the one thing I do fear is like our regulations that will enforce how these tools are used. I'm just hoping that they do catch up to what's going on, right? Because
I mean,
right now we're in the wild rush. You keep hearing the conversation that we should let the market, let the industry decide on how fast to do these things and regulate themselves and things like that. That is one of the biggest challenges I think that I have on like some of this. Is like, no, I don't trust y'all to like do the right thing.
Nah.
That's not going to happen. Like you still need folks in the room to just level the playing field, make sure that folks are paying at a place where you have to have innovation, right? You need innovation, you
right.
need space for folks to be creative, but you also need to create a boundary for how we interact in society, and that's what government should at least provide some assistance on what that boundary is, right? What
Mm-hmm.
what are the tenets of like when you have decided you have done wrong?
Yeah.
And it does sound like there's maybe a new breed of new age of there's a new generation of folks going into politics. It feels like
Like David
that,
Caesar,
huh?
like David Caesar.
Yeah, sure. Just so to say,
Who are you
let's
guys
see.
talking about?
I'm,
Who are you guys talking about?
So I actually, sorry, David Sachs. I said David Caesar.
David
Sachs.
Sachs. Okay, all right.
Yeah,
Okay.
David
Well,
Sachs.
well, he's I don't know. He's the right generation, but he's a generation, right? He's a generation to go on there.
He's
But
a part of
saying this,
he was a part of PayPal Mafia.
Mm-hmm.
PayPal Mafia,
Yep.
yeah,
Yep. I know. All in.
yeah, from All In podcast that's out there. Yeah, he's guess he's one of that. But I guess like there are a lot of retirements happening in government right now.
Yeah.
And there's another generation of folks that are kind of coming in that are more savvy to AI, more connected to either Silicon Valley, or they have more awareness at least to be part of the conversation.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping that folks actually like provide some boundaries to color in. Otherwise, as we talked about with the airlines, we talked about with insurance companies, like these tools
Yeah.
are not going to be used for our benefit. They're going to be used for our detriment if they do not get guidance. So, yeah.
Do you think that basically the best place to start when it comes to that is the EU, their AI Act, and what they've drafted?
I think they are doing such a bad job at the
Really?
rollout of their. Yes, I do. I think that they hit a extreme that's so high that it is actually detriment because folks are like, I'm never gonna want. Who wants to be like them? Look how far behind they are because of this.
Mm.
Right? That's what
It
folks
wasn't
gotta
as
point
severe
to.
as the it wasn't as severe as the California AI thing, was it?
Well,
That was severe.
that didn't get passed though.
Oh yeah, that didn't get passed. Yeah,
Yeah, I didn't get past. No.
yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, I think we need something. I don't know if that. I feel like that's a little bit more the extreme, like having to like vet models and things like that. They're asking for things that are not like possible.
Mm-hmm.
That's the
And
biggest thing. Like they're asking for,
maybe not relevant. You know?
yeah, being able to like scrutinize every model that that anyone makes. Like I can be a hobbyist and do it. And now I like it's weird. It's weird.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think we need something. We need some really well defined regulations, and I hope that it's not written by the folks that are going to be direct beneficiaries of, of the outcomes of, where we're going with AI. I hope that it's actually, what was it? There is is it not the, is it the IEEE? No, IEEE is more for, they regulate how, like, um, they do some regulation on technology, like, hey, what are the standards that we use, things like that. But we need some more bodies kind of like that are specifically for AI, some more like consortiums that
Mm,
you know
I
that
agree.
guide what we should do. So yeah.
I agree. The one thing that I can say is that like my bet was not on voice when it came to AI. I wasn't thinking of voice as
Mm,
really top of mind at the start of this year. What I was thinking was really kind of Zapier level integration, kind of front ends that are going to be allow you to most easily create a workflow using AI agents. But looking at the stock price, like looking at how things are going, you know what I mean. When we're talking about on the subject of what stock were we talking about? We're talking about the
Soundhound.
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 Yeah.
SoundHound compared to the other AI stocks out there, like they've been beating everything. They beat all the bets, and
Mm-hmm.
it's wild to me. I think that it's a combination of things. I think that the amount that they've been promoting what they do
Mm-hmm.
is relevant, and the places that they've hit and where they've spoken have been relevant. And looking at this partnership list, which includes Honda, by the way, uh,
Mm-hmm.
it's it's like they've really covered some like ground. So I think that in this coming year, I'm going to definitely be looking more to voice, looking way more to voice. I thought it was something that was going to come and go. As far as I well, not come and go, but as far as the adoption rate, and how usable that it actually is, I didn't think that that was realistic, and it's definitely changed my mind
Yeah,
recently.
I've been a very early advocator and believer on the voice side of things.
Hmm.
Um, I I knew that the infrastructure, when you're talking about the ability to perform tasks from a voice command, and
Mm,
then that goes several different ways and integration of platforms and communications across networks and things like that, because you have to take that original request query and then do a technology checkoff. I think that is still being built out, and I think we'll eventually and stuff we'll get there. But yeah, I definitely I've been a fan, and we've even built some services and stuff on this end, some solutions and stuff. And so yeah, I mean, I think this is working. And then with Soundhound, it's just it's the market that they're in, taking over, customer care phone lines to place order, drive-throughs, all that stuff, man, can be works very well. And so, as Checkers has been an early adopter of that.
Not
Wendy's,
even rallies. Not even rallies. They got checkers. And that's weird to me. Looking at the like list, I'm like, y'all really got like y'all went. You kind of you know what I mean. They got Mercedes Benz as one of the partners too, but like you kind
ah,
of you went Frog Wireless too. You got them as a partner.
they're they're
They
making
yeah,
they
they're
don't
making
but
money.
like they're making
yeah,
money. Like it's strategic.
Yeah,
yeah.
For
They
sure.
I
went
think
wide. They went wide very quick, wide and deep.
Hmm.
you know what, that's one thing that I think we should actually definitely call it for a song. I'm like looking at their how they've been performing.
Hmm.
And like, yeah, they've hit the last 3 quarters. They hit all their estimates on both sides.
Yep.
Um, and that's one of
Big
the
jump
stories
in
that
December.
we're
In
kind of
December too.
missing. Yeah, one of the things we're missing here is like the story of folks actually turning a profit from AI usage. Not just like,
Not
you
the
know,
big
there's
companies. Yeah.
not the big companies aren't getting lots of like they're not, didn't I can tell you that some companies have added AI features, right? And maybe
Right.
it's marginally helped with some of their operations or something like that. But they haven't said like, hey, I introduced this new AI feature, and it became a large portion of our revenue that we've
Yeah,
pulled in.
I
I
haven't
think
seen that either.
let's see what happens with Salesforce. Salesforce might be an agent force. That might be something. Let's say they're really
So they're going to hire
digging deep into that.
2,000 people to sell their AI tools.
Hmm.
Yeah, and Benioff also said that they are not hiring any software engineers in 2025 because they have made themselves 30% more efficient, and that means that they don't need to hire any more software engineers for 2025. And I'm looking at that like, man, he is such a great salesperson. that's a,
Yeah,
that's code for many things, but he is the ultimate salesperson. He will
interesting.
sell. He's
Klarna
yeah,
CEO say they stopped hiring too.
yeah,
Um,
Yeah,
and so I don't. It's hard to say. I don't. These in. I think when these things come out publicly, man, these guys has been wrong so much. That not even just them as an individual, but the industry has been
mm,
wrong so much. Everything, and stuff. And
yeah,
so, I think it's still challenging to say where we're gonna be at in 3 years. And where the market's going to shift and all those things like that. And so I think it's very, very challenging to do so. And so I don't look at this as, the world's about to stop hiring and shifting and things like that. It's just, they're stating their viewpoint. I would argue over the next 2 quarters, and that can very much change
yeah.
by
I think that
Q3.
yeah.
it
Stuff.
could.
But
Yeah.
but I'll tell you one thing: if I was someone who was gonna work there and had options, I don't know if that was the place. If you're gonna be like, oh, now you're gonna turn, now you like engineers? Because yesterday,
That's
you know what I
just
mean?
last year you didn't like
And
engineers.
let
Hmm.
somebody let hire engineer from OpenAI get laid off or
Yeah,
decide he wants to leave. I can guarantee that door gonna be open.
yeah. But
Yeah,
he's gonna have options. You
Yeah,
know?
for sure,
yeah,
for sure. Mhm.
yeah. Actually, I'm actually reading that AI focused positions have been kind of being actually slowing down considerably. Like it's actually if you're looking to get work as an AI specific engineer or have that geared into your title, that is actually you know very hard to obtain now.
So
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
funny. I was just having this discussion yesterday where somebody asked specifically,
Mm.
do I think junior engineers are going to simply go away? Um,
They're
and
already gone.
particularly like around, so here's my answer. I mean, I think it's the same thing stuff here with the AI roles. I think in the tech industry, it's like you said, probably it's already gone. Like it's not going to be a lot of like junior engineers and stuff that's hired and everything in the tech
Mm-hmm.
industry. I
Mm-hmm.
think the tech adjacent industry is what's going to explode. I
Yeah.
think everything from your government roles, to working at the MLB, working working for a podcast studio, like whatever, maybe something like that. Like I think those roles are going to expand. And everything is same thing, kind of like with the AI focus, title or things as well. I think it's everything. All the other industries is what is going to benefit from this. But I think the tech industry specifically are going to definitely slow down.
Yeah, I think we're still gonna be hiring folks to break your telemetry system for your Kubernetes cluster. I think those guys are pretty safe as long as they
I can just, oh
keep
man,
taking down the telemetry system.
for
You,
real.
you can have your all the 12 days of AI you want, but if that
Hmm.
telemetry system is not working, apparently that's more important. So,
Hmm.
You know,
That's the truth.
you know what's funny? Hold on. Let's see if they open up a new role. Open AI.
Oh, that'd be funny. We should put an alert on that. Put an alert just to see if we see that role pop up.
Let's see. What I think what would it be? I see data infrastructure engineer.
For that, observability engineer would be the position. If you see something pop up, you know what?
Enterprise site reliability.
I'm always of the opinion that if you have someone that has been involved in a outage, it's more your person becomes exponentially more valuable because they have real world experience that will not be recreated, and you would never want to recreate it ever again.
Yeah, you don't want to see what I've seen. You don't want to go through what I've been through. He comes in with the eye patch. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
An outage, boy. I've seen an outage.
Exactly. Yep. That's what they used to call the old Unix guys graybeards, right?
Yeah.
Because you see a guy, a Unix administrator, that
there it is.
Gray beard.
He's observability.
Oh, you see one? Oh,
yeah.
This
is a software engineer role. Observability. Let's see if they mention any things in the outages and stuff here.
Yeah. I don't know. That's why when I saw the we're not hiring more engineers in 2025, I'm like, you're gonna hire. So you're definitely gonna hire someone because these things. As you get more customers, I mean, your systems are gonna get bigger. You're gonna, it's just maybe it's something else. Maybe after folks, our titles change was at every 5 years. At least the infrastructure folks, that's been our thing, right? We were sysadmins, we were DevOps engineers, we were site reliability engineers. What else were there? Platform engineers. Cloud engineers.
Mm-hmm.
Right. These are all these can be all the same person. Actually, in my case, I have held all these names at some point in time. It's like the same skill rehashed into different versions of the, into the different generations. So we'll see. I feel like those jobs are good and safe for them. I'm sure Benioff is hiring those folks. He doesn't have a choice. So.
Yeah, like you said, as things scale and everything, you're definitely going to need, new minds, fresh minds. And also, too, we also did mention burnout, as well.
Yeah. Well, I think he said new. That was his key word. He said new. So I'm sure if someone leaves, they have to replace. So.
I mean, isn't new? I mean, replace is still, it doesn't equal the amount to new. You're still hiring?
No, you treat net new as like, hey, I have I'm expanding this team. I'm adding 3 more people as I'm adding new people to the team. But if someone leaves, you're doing more of a replace. Like you're not losing headcount or gaining headcount for it. You got to petition. Well, that's why you have to petition for one. The other one you don't have to petition for. So, yeah.
Well, cool, man. Great. Fellas, man, this is honestly, this might have been it's probably one of my favorite episodes.
For real. Before we get done though, predictions for next year.
Oh yeah.
Can we do that?
Ooh. Yeah, start us off, Adrian.
All right. So predictions for next year. I think that we're gonna be okay, because we're already hearing less about chatbots, so I can't say that. I think we're gonna see more. It's definitely going to be on the agent side of AI. So what I presume is that this next year we're going to see the official AI framework that's going to be definitive, or not AI framework, sorry, AI agent framework, SaaS service that's going to set the bar for the rest of them.
Yeah, mine's is actually very similar. Mine's is, yes, the framework and everything for the AI agent, but it is going to be focused on the AI agent that works, integrates, and has a reinforcement learning, RAG, all those things for the consumer. So basically the individual will basically start the bottom work of building and working with their own specialized agent that they will take on with them for years to come.
Okay. I think my prediction for 2025 is, I think mine's gonna be on it. I think we're gonna hit our the efficiency curve that for using GPUs and things like that. I feel like we're gonna start hitting that curve, which means that the cost of training is gonna go down because there will be additional players in the market for doing training other than NVIDIA. NVIDIA is going to hit their slump eventually. I think 2025 will be the year that you're going to start at least seeing their slump happen, where they're going to lose a little bit more control of their market share. I have a lot. I'm basing this off of just certain things that at least I feel like I'm seeing. I feel like AMD has a really good opportunity with their new platform. Folks aren't using it, and not just folks aren't using it, but they're not hitting the exact numbers. They don't have the level of like driver efficiency that's required to make them a bigger player. And they're coming out with a new chipset, so I think that's a big one. Intel's Battle Mage that they just came out, which is it's a consumer GPU, is actually just shown the industry like, oh yeah, Intel actually still knows a little bit around GPUs and how to like do them right.
Okay.
And with the new things that are coming out of the Intel Foundry, the 18 nanometer chips that they have, which are supposed to be better than the things that are coming out of TSMC, I think that they have an opportunity to either they're going to go big or they're going to go home. And if they go big enough, I expect for NVIDIA shares to drop. I expect for the cost of using AI tools to decrease tremendously. So that's where I was about to say things. Yeah.
Love that.
I think the most impressive thing, I'm very impressed and surprised that you got to that segment and didn't mention Google. Anyway, well, guys, man, it's been an awesome episode. We're coming to the end here of our season 2 as well. Man, this is the ending here of our first season. Man, we're going to revamp and everything, make sure the AI Friends is better than ever. Also to season 2, man, we'll be introducing guests. We'll start bringing guests in, man, from industry leaders and to practitioners and stuff too as well. And so, we got some good friends in network who's building some cool things or has a nice insight on some things like the music industry and how AI is impacting, that stuff over there. And so, yeah, man, it's been a pleasure. It's been a pleasure, man. It's been fun. Even today, we've had several conversations around OpenAI 12 days of AI. We mentioned Meta smart glasses, Google Notebook LM, with the podcast, 11 Labs, along with SoundHound AI stock surge and stuff there. And so, as always, man, I am Marlon Avery. You can find me on all platforms. I am Marlon Avery, along with AI with Friends podcast on all platforms. Sekou, Adrian.
Yeah, you can find me Sekou the Wise on TikTok and on Twitch. Yeah, and same thing. Wish everyone a happy holidays, safe days, and We want to hear from you folks that have been watching and know about what are the things that you want to hear about or see in the podcast, and what are things you think that we could do better here. So yeah, with that, I'll pass it over to Adrian.
Yeah. Also interested in hearing your predictions too. If anyone has predictions out there, we'll be open to field those. You can find me for real. Infamous Adrian on Twitter. That's the best place to reach me. And that's it. That's where you can find me. Wishing everyone happy holidays and be safe out there for sure.
For sure. All right, guys. All right. Until next time.
All right.
All right.
Peace. Take care.
Till next season.
Jeez.